Hello artists, today we're going to be completing your page 5 in your Drawing Basics packet. So we are going to be completing what's called a gesture drawing and an observational drawing. So this is kind of what it's going to look like by the time we get done today. So switching over to our worksheet, the first thing that we're going to talk about is a gesture drawing, and a gesture drawing is just drawing quick lines to get a fast sketch of the object. So we're really just trying to get the general idea of what's happening in front of us. So we're going to do a drawing for 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and 1 minute. In order to do this process, please make sure you watch the other video about how to draw a mannequin, because we are going to be working with a mannequin today. And the only thing that I have to say about this is please make sure that you are respectful with them. We do not want to have this happen to our beautiful mannequins where they break. They are expensive to replace, so please make sure you just take good care of them. Don't overbend any of their limbs, and then just listen for it if it starts to get tight. Make sure that you just twist it back the other way. When we're drawing today, you do need to make sure that your mannequin position makes sense. And once you have your mannequin positioned, let's get right into it here. So I've got my HB pencil out. I've got my mannequin placed in a position just off the screen here. I have my timer set. And our first drawing, we're just going to go for 15 seconds, and we're just going to try and capture the general idea of what is happening in front of us. So here we go in 3, 2, 1, start. So I have a head, got my appendage. Again, just getting the general overall body shape of what's happening there. It's going to look very stick figure like, and we've got 3 seconds left, and stop. So, okay, that's our first 15-second drawing. We can tell that there's a body here, and there's the arms and the legs. It's very stick figure-like. That's what I'm looking for with our first one. Now for our second one, we're going to start building a little bit more because it's twice as long. So I'm setting my timer again for 30 seconds. And we are getting started here in 3, 2, 1, go. Again, trying to focus on the head and those major body parts in whatever position you chose. Okay. And then you can start working on some of those arm pieces. Now that we've talked about how they work and function, okay, you want to keep moving. Again, we're just capturing the essence of what's in front of us. Maybe we have about 10 seconds left, so try to get those legs in there if you can. Oh, my leg's going that way. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, stop. All right. So again, they're very messy, they're kind of sloppy, but I can still tell the position of my mannequin. Your goal is to do the same, and if you're laughing and giggling along the way, that's great too. So our last one is going to be for 1 minute. Now, if you feel like you've been struggling to get this position, you can change your mannequin very quickly. And now that you have your mannequin changed to whatever position you are choosing to draw for this 1 minute, again, it's going to be a little bit more challenging if you did change the position, but you have 1 minute to draw your mannequin. Again, you're slowing down just a little bit, trying to get some of those actual accurate joint and socket pieces placed, and trying to get some of those proportion pieces. So here we go. We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go for 1 minute. So really take some time, look at your mannequin, start figuring out where those body placement pieces go. And we're still moving quickly, so we're just trying to get the feel of what's going on there. This leg is going out this way. Okay, there's not a right or a wrong place to start or stop. We have about 30 seconds left, so you can kind of gauge your speed. Okay, 20 seconds. If you have a little extra time, take a second to fix anything that's not correct. Okay, about 10 seconds left. A little bit more of a hidden leg there. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, and that concludes the top part of our worksheet, which is our gesture process. So again, you can take your mannequin now and just close him up, make him just stand nice and tall, and then please just set him flat on the desk. That way he doesn't get knocked over and broken. So our mannequin is going to go off to the side, and now we're going to start talking about observational drawing. So with an observational drawing, the idea is that we're going to draw exactly what the image shows or what you see. So it's important that you have your drawing pencil packet with you. You want to just double check, make sure you have all of those pencils present and ready to go in your bag. When you go to do this process, the idea is that we're going to just copy exactly what we see over into this box. I like to just stick with 3 pencils. I like to choose a core shadow color, which would probably be my 6B, a middle tone, which I'm going to stick with my school pencil, or you could use the 2B. And then I like to have a lighter value on hand just in case I need it, which is the 4H. So those are the 3 pencils that I like to work with, but you can choose whatever you want to work with in order to create accurate values here. So I'm going to pull mine out. And I'm going to actually start sketching with my 4H pencil because it's the lightest one. It's the easiest one to erase. And really what I'm doing here is I'm just like we saw, there's a short little video about drawing a scissor. If you didn't get a chance to do that, you don't have to worry about it so much. But what she talks about in that video is just kind of looking at creating a measurement tool so that you can start mapping out, how wide is this thing really? So we can use our pencil to do this. If you're doing this in like real life, you could just hold your pencil out and measure from the top of your pencil to your thumb, whatever the size is, and kind of bring that down to your paper. So that's a cool way to use kind of what's called a rule of thumb. So I'm just going to slide this over here so I can see that's kind of where my apple is going to sit. Okay, so from here, now I can just start drawing what I see. Rounding it out. Okay. Now this leaf part, this is the part where a lot of students kind of goof this up. So if you want to help yourself out, you could absolutely use a ruler if you want to, but it's the same process that we just did before, where we're using kind of our rule of thumb and we're just trying to help measure to give ourselves a little bit of a guide on where this thing sits. Okay, so if I'm going to put that right there, okay, mine's going to stick out of my box a little bit, and that's okay. Sometimes that happens. And now I can kind of start lightly sketching this in. This is not the time when I realize we're drawing this realistically, but you'll notice I like to work with sketch lines first, getting a general idea in before I start really making the lines permanent or really making them dark. Okay, so now I can kind of map out where I think that sits, somewhere right in there. Okay, it's got a little cylinder top piece. Comes back down and in. So I'm kind of gauging this space here, which is somewhere in there, and then I'm really kind of looking underneath, and that actually tucks up into this leaf. So now this is where I can kind of start playing around with, okay, that leaf actually should be a little bit closer to my stem, okay, based on this space here. So now you just start going around your image and figuring out, what's missing or what's not long enough. And fixing and adjusting as you work. So mine's actually going to probably get right on the edge there. Okay, so I'm going to keep working at this. You can keep working on yours. I'll pause it if I need to help you a little bit with your values. But maybe one last tip that I would share with you is now when we start doing some of these dark values, it might be beneficial to just fill this apple in and then come back and use the rendering to pull out those highlights. And that's one strategy. Another strategy could be actually mapping out a little bit where that highlight's going to sit. So I'm just drawing very, very lightly in that highlight line. So I'll scoot in here a little bit so you guys can see. Just to give me a guide, when I start shading it in, I'm not losing my really, really light areas. So this kind of goes in there, and then there's even a light spot right down in here. And then we've got this nice one mapped in that curves around the apple, and then one more on the side here. Okay. So yes, I'm going quite quickly, or quite fast, I guess. If you feel like you need to slow down a little bit, you certainly can. But now I'm going to take a 6B. I like to just get right into it. I'm holding it on its side. And we just talked about cross contours. Cross contours means you're curving your lines to go with the direction around the form of the apple. So when I get over here on this side, I'm going to curve my lines going up around the apple, and that will make it look more realistic. So I'm going to keep shading this, and then I'm going to use my render technique a little bit to pull out any of the remaining highlights. I'm going to really darken down some of my dark shadow areas, and I'm going to lighten up some of my highlights. What that'll do is really make it pop, so that I'm trying to, again, just recreate what I see in this apple on the left to the right.